Jam Osu Game community, this is the Osu Game news and analysis here, okay? But real talk, I'm going to be talking about some Osu Game shit in the Reddit and give my comments. So one of the main topics in this video is what my thoughts are on the Osu Game PP system currently, as it seems that there is some investigation going on. This is released about a fucking week ago, but he was basically apparently giving some goofy phenomenon in the PP system, PP app number 2, and I just want to read about it and also some other shit, but I'll just go on about this. It's pretty long, but I'll just get straight up into this, where the most ludicrous and goofy phenomenon in PP currently, and how it accidentally gave Emrek two 1700 PP scores if it PP app number 2. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go with this, just go fucking balls deep into this fucking post, because I think what he's saying here is actually quite sensible. But yes, this title is completely serious. I believe that my actions 2 months ago have led to Emrek having 6 1.7 scores at the time of posting as opposed to 4. By the end of reading this post, you probably agree there's been quite a massive influx of maps affectionately referred to as aim slop that abuse their angle repetition penalties, leniency, and the angle bonus, which is meant to reward jumps that require agility, Crystallia, but actually has a massive effect in these repeating angle aim slop maps. Some have become more infamous than others, and while the common reason spiking this amount of this may make sense, by far the least known potential cause has helped propel a certain maps to the peak of slopdom. As I recall, there's not been much more buzz over any maps that fits this category than Time to Say Goodbye. So look at this thing here where Peppy, he's like, okay, internal concerns over these two maps being overweighted current AP iteration, and look at this where Zetsubo on top and Time to Say Goodbye, which seems to be some crazy fucking aim maps recently in the OC game farm meta. But look at this where the aforementioned slop characteristics apply here. It's somehow short and has the right amount of spikes to gain PP without having too much, where the difficulty of playing the map increases without proportional reward. This map set also takes advantage of the open secret of PP mapping, chunking. If we want to understand what chunking is, we want to understand the way that OC calculates difficulty. Yeah, so look at this fucking graph here. Wow. Yeah, there's like some crazy ass shit here. We got the bar graphs. I don't even know what the fuck he's saying here, but the strain difficulty graph of Time to Say Goodbye, no return plus DT. Notice the apparent double width BIS spikes, which are important. Yeah, look at this where it seems that here there is a peak in this graph here. So around this middle part and this little bit of a almost ending middle part. But as you guys can see, there's a diff spike in these two parts, which jack up the difficulty by a shit ton. And he's saying that's pretty important here. But look at this where what you're looking at here, there is a rough graph of the map's difficulty tracked in 400 millisecond real-time sections, which means a map played in DT will have different sectioning compared to it on Nomad or any other rate. Real-time, so that hypothetical map that is the same on DT as another map, Nomad will be identical. The system then reduces the value of the most difficult sections as despite compensation, peak strain reduction, and then geometrically sums them based on difficulty strain summation. The obvious problem occurs here when shifting the entire map can change, where certain nodes fall in these 400 millisecond strains, which changes the value of these strain sections. Change it away difficulty is calculated, creating SRPP variations based on the offset of the map. For example, if the offset or rate is changed to create an extract strain section at the peak difficulty of the map without significant trade-off elsewhere, then the system sees that there is one more hard strain, and that both alleviates the peak strain reduction by taking it and boosts the strain summation, which boosts difficulty. This goes the other way as well, where changing offset or rate so that a diff spike counts for one less strain section is suboptimal because it drops SRPP. The double width spikes you would see in the perfectly chunked maps are actually two strain sections being optimally squeezed. The strength of this effect changes based on how many peak difficulty parts there are in a map or spikiness. When it comes to a map like Brazil, you can see the negative effects of strains being subtracted by changing the rate, and a lot of the time 0.01x increases in rate can decrease the SRPP. Funnily enough, Brazil has a really good chunking luck on DT and Nomad, so we can assume the mapper upload, don't worry. A former member of the PP committee actually knows about chunking, create an offset that favored both DT and Nomad. Some map gets the short end of the stick. Both Sotarks that have walked this way suffer greatly from lost chunks of match that MREX 1552 PP play would have been worth at least 1600 PPP with optimal offset. All right, guys, so I just had to digest what the fuck I just read here, but basically what he is saying here is that essentially, so some maps here, they have this diff spikes where, as you guys can see with the difficulty strain of this, whatever the fuck this map is called, Time to Say Goodbye, there's 2 diff spikes in here. And as we can know, this map is very overweighted for some reason. And as you guys can see in Osu game, well, how difficulty seems to be calculated is that, for example, if there's a huge fucking diff spike with around 400 milliseconds of a time frame, then if it's just that one diff spike and then everything else is like relatively easier, then the difficulty of the map, like the star rating, isn't really as high as it would be compared to if there are 2 like somewhat hard sections here, which is why, as you guys can see from the 2 diff spikes here, or I guess you can argue 3, well, this actually jacks up the difficulty of this map, even though it's actually not that difficulty. So that essentially jacks up the difficulty of this map, and some mappers apparently are using this a lot to essentially change around the timing of the maps to essentially reflect upon this within these new strains. So let's look at this rest of this where, yeah, so the selected map, which is walk this way, and so a tool for finding optimal offset made by the Fart Lord and Fred 727, a massive 0.2 star and 131 pp swing from real to ideal. Yeah, so this is kind of just insane here, but people can essentially just set the offset of the map. So they essentially change when the map starts, essentially. So the strain relative to the notes, they can essentially just jack around this difficulty curves and essentially manipulate how many curves are represented in the song. So the mappers have that control to essentially optimally represent that actual difficulty or change it so that it's undervalued for some reason. But the mappers that really like to have these two diff spikes, for example, they can jack up the PP valuation. But essentially here where, yeah, it seems like this math here, I'm not going to pretend I understand what the fuck this means here, but they're trying to find a good offset to find what is the perfect offsets for DT and no mod, it seems, which it seems a little interesting here. But let's look at the rest of this, where it seems to be perfect, which itself is a major tell that this is deliberate, along with the silence at the very start of the map signaling an MP3 edit. There's an extremely note here to be made for BMs and such that is not necessarily a bad thing for chunking to be optimal on any map. Consider every suboptimal chunking situation that loses SR PP for no reason. It's okay for a mapper to make chunking optimal because of this, but it still does gain a massive amount of PP from the average chunking situation, which just happens to be important for everyone who plays this map on DT. The way I found this out was looking at the PP server and the fact that the time to say goodbye was unchanged above diffs after offset calculation on my eye. It's like it doesn't work perfectly, for example. And yeah, you can trust that the increased figures for RE4 Me 1997 both walk this way, scores being buffed by a lot as previously mentioned. Yeah, so this guy made the calculator, big brain motherfucker here. But yeah, look at this look at this difference, bro. So it essentially is looking at this where I'll check it because Zetsubo's plantation diff is actually perfect. Also, hypothetical utopian Emmerich has another 1.7k on Azumi's diff. The nuclease method has been revealed. And yeah, I went check the optimal offset using a perfect offset finder to verify this, which to my surprise was the map's offset. I then remembered that Emmerich had 2 plays barely above 1700 pp on this set. The optimal and real DT offsets of both these diffs are the same due to the spikes being in the same places. I thought if it were not for the mapper deliberately creating optimal chunking on this map, and the chance of the map having good enough chunking to get 1700 above these plays very low. It was only then I looked at the mapper's name and everything clinked. So look at this where, okay, time to say goodbye is perfect. For it to be perfect on 2 discs is ludicrous. Wait a fucking second, this is the mapper. So, okay. Okay. What the fuck is this? I don't know where to put this, but I feel like a mapper should know this. Also, the Sotarks know this, but apparently not due to strain chunking and PP. Simply shifting the offset of a map can have noticeable difficulty effects. A good example is recently walked this way. We're just shifting everything back 220 milliseconds, take the DT star rating from 11.99 to 12.15, and PP for hidden DT SS from 28.27 to 29.30. Again, this is changing nothing at all. Yeah, they literally just fucking changed the offset. So essentially when the map starts, but same occurs on the old walk this way actually, where moving the timing point 220 milliseconds back from 560 to 340 takes DT star rating on top diff from 11.74 to 11.90. So look at this where you're forgetting one thing. The massive difference between standard laser is straight up slider rack is taking account in laser, making PP different, just everything harder to hit or something. I put in classic mod and Stranger doesn't change either. So yeah, isn't that kind of funny that the mappers, they can just change when the map starts, like the offsets, and that essentially jacks up their difficulty because they could essentially manipulate the algorithm for calculating difficulty to have the difficult spikes within these 2 400 millisecond time frames instead of the original one. Essentially, they're just trying to manipulate it, if I would have a lack of a better word here. But because of this, it's reasonable to assume that the mapper went through the trouble of setting the perfect offset because they were made aware of the potential effect and caused every play on this type of map to gain the extra bit of PP, which is especially crucial for MX2 plays to reach 1.7k because as you're chunking, the play would have worth 50 less PP if the offset was 1 millisecond later. So I don't have much more to say. Then I hope I explained chunking properly so that the average game OSU game, well, I can understand that if you barely broke a PP barrier or barely got a fucking top lane on this map, then blah 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 blah. So yeah, TLDR. If you make the map so the PP algorithm consider it to have more diff spikes by deliberately playing with the difficulty graph, it's worth more PP. Or we made the mapper of time to say goodbye, aware of that. Yeah. So if you just change the offset around, you essentially have the map have more artificial diff spikes, which could jack up the star rating. So that's kind of interesting here, where they're trying to just even out that overall difficulty. But yeah, I don't, is this really just that broken for the PP system overall with this goofy off phenomenon? I don't know. I think it's interesting personally. So the algorithm to calculate the overall PP exposure when they FC a map here. So the idea is that, like, I don't know the whole fucking ins and out of how they do it mathematically, but the basic concept is that if they have more rounded diff spikes, so obviously it makes sense from a conceptual level to increase the star rating overall based off the average or the aggregation of how difficult the map is throughout. But we know that in Osu sometimes there are going to be some parts of the map that are just like brain dead, and then some maps are like actually fucking hard. And then these maps, like, they're not really represented the best. And sometimes we had the previous issues with like fucking Delusion map or the Zane map. Like, they had these little weird diff spikes, and then the whole other map is like easy, but those maps were jacked up. But obviously we want to represent a most rounded effect around the map as possible. So in any case, I don't know if I have like super that many comments about it, except that I think it's interesting that the mappers can essentially change around the offset of their own accord to essentially manipulate what parts have difficulty spikes or what they would designate as a difficulty spike, and then map it accordingly for jacking up the star rating for people to get more PP. So I just thought that was interesting, but I don't really have anything else to say besides that it's cool. But yeah, I don't really have anything against it, honestly. It's probably the mapper's accord. It was probably just a community decision anyways, so nothing really else to say here. But besides that yap here, I'll talk about some other things in this video. Look at this, where if rate change gets ranked, what do you think will be the meta? I think it'll be speed again. The problem for speed players was that they didn't have enough maps to compete with aim for a long time. In 2020, Astronaut had to resort to playing old, more awkward maps, 3 mod other than Emu 30 turn 7 farm maps. Now the speed meta did give a bunch of speed farm, but not even close to the amount of aim farm. So rate change, you don't even need maps. You need a bunch of maps so you can edit, and boom, so you can compete with aim. It's not just those 4 to 6.8 star stream maps that people can speed up. There are a bunch of high star flow aim maps that they can speed up, like a little Raise My Sword or Voice in the Dark. I think it'll be the farming since speed flowing is more farmed than raw speed, and since people finally switch to laser, they want no log, which is broken for streams. What do you think? Yeah, he's giving a bit of a point here where the streams, well, yeah, we had the speed meta before, now it's the aim meta here. But if rate change gets ranked, so the only variable that's changing, and then it's on laser, right? So yeah, he is giving a case where people, they don't have note lock anymore, so the streams are probably more easy to hit on laser, and a result of that, they could probably get more PP from it because people aren't missing as much on the streams anymore. So I guess you could see that inflation, but I don't know if the meta will actually just directly change the streams as well, because that assumes that anything changes for the average player place to get better speed. Because like, if we know from a quantitative perspective that people, they have more access to rapid trigger, which essentially makes speed more accessible to the average Osu player. So that was one of the catalysts for why speed became a meta. But I don't really know what else would they say. Like, the case is that, okay, well, now they could play more inflated maps. There's also inflated aim maps too, so I don't think it's just going to be speed, I guess, is benefit. But the note lock aspect, yeah, you could argue that, but that already existed within laser, so why isn't it a speed meta already within laser if that's actually the case here? So I don't think there was going to be that much of a change just because the rate change happens. But let's look at the next Reddit post where, yeah, so there's this play that I saw when I was on this like 9 fucking days ago, but Mofuries, which is this Japanese Osu game player with the fucking easy mod. So I'm just going to show you guys this gameplay here. Like, wow. Dude, that is just, I don't know what the fuck, dude. Some of these people are just absolutely bonkers, bro. So you're playing this for 99.95% accuracy. Like, I think some people are like saying that they're cheating or some shit, but when I see this, I'm just like, I don't know, man. Some of these motherfuckers are just so cracked at this game, dude. Like, wow. I don't know, bro. Like, I saw this play and I was jaw dropping like a Cartoon Network cartoon character, bro. Like, I was like, Like, I was Pog champion, whatever the fuck you like to say, but wow, dude. But let's look at the next thing where do y'all still think that Jashin Overweighted was overweighted? Thinking about it, it's a hard but comfortable high star rating, no mod map. It's farm, sure, but I think back when it was being farmed by everyone and being no mod people record time and blah, 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 but whatever the fuck, bro. Jashin Overweighted, is it overrated? I mean, I guess you could argue that since everyone and their mom is farming it for 1,000 PPs, you could say that just based off the data that a shit ton of people get 1Ks off it. But from my own perspective, I mean, if we think about what we were seeing earlier with the mappers able to essentially jack up the star rating of a map just based off 2 difficulty spikes, so we know that Jashin has the double peak within that distribution where a lot of the difficulties in the beginning and then the ending, and then most of the map is actually kind of not really 9 stars, probably 6, 7 stars instead. But Jashin only has 2 of these disc spikes. If it was super difficulty throughout the whole fucking map, 9 stars, then probably not overweighted. But I guess you can argue that it is a bit of a farm stream map, but I still think it's pretty insane because it's not to say that it's easy. No, it's not. It's still pretty fucking hard. So just based off the data, is overweighted. Honestly, I think it's kind of not. Personally, I think it's still a decent play for anyone who FCs it, but let's look at this word. Chicony opinion about Emmerich. I just saw this earlier and I'm bored, so I'm here to ask you guys, do you feel the same way as he is, or do you guys disagree with Chicony? Have a discussion below. Hot take, it will be better for Osu competitive scene if Emmerich wasn't that dominant or didn't exist in Osu. Yeah, so ever since Emmerich became the fucking GOAT of all time in Osu game and started twerking all of the beat maps and started getting 500 PPs on left and right when he was a 1-year-old child, and now he's getting 2,000 PPs as a fucking adult for his breakfast. Well, that's essentially made everyone's dopamine receptors for Osu game become like, wow, this is just, I'm not even surprised if someone gets a 1K anymore. Because back then, motherfuckers were like, wow, Cookie Z got the 700 PP on the Blue Zenith hidden Hard Rock when you see it. Oh my god. And everyone was Pog champion out of fucking 700 now, right? But if you show people on 700 on Osu game Reddit, they're like, okay, whatever. I'll give you like a maybe a silver corn award or some shit because it is a fucking Mofuries play. But yeah, I think he has a point here with Chicony. He's saying that some of these motherfuckers, they don't really get excited for any other scores because everyone just compares themselves to the top G, which is Emmerich here in Osu game. And yeah, honestly, I am a bit biased for his opinion as well, where I think it would be better if he didn't exist because it wouldn't be as dominant. But you also have to realize within perhaps even Osu game, this is also just the nature of nature, a rule of nature, where everything there, it follows a power law distribution where maybe about 1% of the players, or 0.001% of the people, get 99.99% of the attention or whatnot. And Emmerich here, he's obviously the fucking GOAT of all time. And as things get even, I mean, I guess you could argue over time, the Osu game PP distribution of total PP could follow some sort of a logarithmic curve or some shit, like a power law fucking curve, where a lot of the PP is concentrated around this 10%, 90% of it is into 10%, top 10%. But in any case, besides that, yeah, I think it would be more exciting, at least for the competitive scene, if Emmerich wasn't so dominant, because then more people are evenly matched, and it's obviously way cooler to see a tournament match where it's evenly matched people fighting instead of one side just being absolutely decimating the other one. And it's really boring to see. You like to see the people that are really strong. Like, think about in anime, for example, people like to argue who would win in a fight, Naruto or Luffy from One Piece. And obviously, when you think about that, okay, who would actually win here, Luffy or One Piece? Okay, well, Luffy, he's got the Gear 5, the Bountoman, and he's got the Gomu Gomu no Dick Pistol. And then Naruto here, he's got the fucking Rasengan, the nine-tail fox movement. Okay, well, who is the powerful character here? Like, it's evenly matched. There's actually kind of cool that competitive aspect here. But if it was like Goku versus Naruto, bro, like, it's a wrap. It's a wrap for Naruto, bro. Like, Goku's gonna eat his asshole out inside. And it's because Goku, he's got like Super Saiyan 4 and Super Ultra Instinct, and he's going Kaioken and just twerking on the beat, doing the fucking Ultra Kamehameha for Master Roshi. And then Luffy is just like, okay, bro, like, this is not even a competition anymore. But yeah, he's essentially where it's cooler to see an evenly matched distribution instead of one upsided one compared to the low side. But that is, I honestly agree with Chicony here, where yeah, he actually cooked at this, man. Like, very, very good, man. Хорошо. But let's look at this next thing where Spare is restricted. So it seems like there's this player named Spare, where there was this guy named Browmaster Ale. So he made the Osu commentaries, and I like to watch them before. They were quite good. I don't think he posts that often anymore. But he was essentially making a video about the Spare guy. and he was like, okay, is Spare hacking? And everyone was flaming. He was like, oh, bro, he's like not even a hacker, bro. He's been around for years. But then apparently he is actually cheating some of his scores. And Pepe here is like, hey, LSU community, sorry for any confusion this caused. Recently, we have gathered enough evidence that proves without a doubt that Spare set cheated scores in late April and throughout May of 2020. Originally, we were intending to go by our standard policies for cases in the distant past. We fixed the issue by removing score and don't restrict because it was so long ago. And that said, we sometimes make exceptions given how high profile the cheat scores were. And taking into consideration the community's immediate response, we had decided to place restriction on long restriction. Lots of course depends on how things will go from here. Yeah, so quite interesting to see here where this guy gets restricted. Personally, I didn't really have like that much emotional attachment. Just I never really saw it before, or never really knew this player that much. So I know that's like a crazy take. I know a lot of the Osu skeletons are like, "What the fuck did you just say?" But yeah, I think this was quite an interesting thing for the Osu community. They're like, "Wow, that's kind of insane," and they wanted to apologize for Broadmaster L. So let's look at this next one, where my honest opinion on the Osu community from the very short time I've been trying to part of it. I started playing the game like 5 years ago, but was never very active in the community. Most I'll do was watch a Karape video or hear when a new PP record was set, and after now trying to actively participate and generally pay attention to stuff going on, I've got to say, I'm actually surprised by how mostly chill everyone seems. I know there's drama and stuff because that's literally every community in the history of ever, but generally almost everyone I've talked to in this community has been very nice to me. I understand the fact that I suck and not just being mean about it, and to me, like, I legit think this community is worth more than it's credit for. Don't let the worst Utamis make the best shit guys look bad. Thank you for the drama. Let's say goodbye to Twitter says easy photo. Yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, I think from my perspective, O's community. So he started playing from 5 years ago, bro. That's not a short time. But I suppose he's saying here is kind of chill, but it's just at the end of the day, it's nature of it. It's just motherfuckers hopping on the Ozu game and clicking the circles and listen to the music and shit. So I don't know how you can find anything super toxic about that. There's not like a competitive aspect like his league where if you go on Korean servers and you're just fighting the enemy team and then you int your teammate under the fucking turret, they're like, oh my gosh, bro, fuck your mother. And like, it's not that deep in my opinion. It doesn't really breed that type of behavior anyways. Like the online multiplayer games it probably does because there's a competitive aspect, but like also game is more of a single player type of deal. But I guess there's that competitive aspect from people just trying to compete with each other. But let's look at this, where does training forearms increase steering stamina? Are there any people here that has increased stamina after working on forearms or not? So I've answered this before in a video. I made a video about it, I think, where the forearms increases streaming stamina. So I actually looked into this and I don't think it actually does, because personally I trained the forearms and the streaming stamina I never really saw it and also increase. I mean, I didn't create a whole ass statistical trial with random samples of people and then I set up so that it has no confounding variables. I didn't set that up, but from my own personal anecdotal experience, it doesn't really increase the streaming stamina. If you want to increase streaming stamina, you just play the fucking game. You just tap your fingers on the keypad or wherever the fuck. But let's look at this, where what do you think when you play Osu? I played from 2016 to 2019, and I remember that although I managed to concentrate a little more, when I play, I would spend more time thinking about things in my life, conversations, fights, and everything. I expect to listen to the music. A lot of fun playing, but I would think a lot while playing to the point about playing by reflex and not paying attention. Everything started playing again, and it happens worse. Now I think more about everything. I started thinking if anything happened to you or in general. I was curious when you think when you play Osu, is it just me? So in my opinion about this, I sometimes have this, but usually when I play Osu like every like fucking once a week or once a month or some shit, like I'm completely locked in when I'm playing, because at least from a locked in perspective, like if you wanted to talk about the neurotransmitters, well, if you're playing Osu every day, it's kind of just boring to you at a point. So it's probably more exciting for your brain to think about other shit while you're playing the game to find more stimulation somehow. But if you're just playing the Osu game like every so often, and it's probably the funniest thing in the world, you're quick in the circles, he's got the mechanical exposure, and then you're also listening to the music. It's like such a great time. You're gonna be completely locked into the circles at the time. I don't think you're gonna suffer this, and you're just not going to be thinking about anything. You're going to be completely locked in. And I find this more in situations where, let's say you had a really hard day and then you hop back on and you're like, wow, this is awesome, right? Let's say you were in McDonald's and you were flipping the burgers and you had to fight in the sewer rats to grab the frozen burger patties. Well, you'll probably have a good time playing Osu game, and if you're not really doing anything else and frying your dopamine receptors, you're most likely going to be thinking about other shit. That's my own opinion about this. But let's look at this, where I want to cut my middle finger. I fucking hate my middle finger. I've been playing this game for 4 years and I still can't fucking stream. Whenever I stream, my index finger is clicking 330 BPM while my middle can only do 160. My only plays are only aim maps, and I really want to try stream maps, so someone to please send tips. Thanks. Yeah, why don't you just switch the ring index, bro? So he switched it, and the gap makes it far more relaxing. Okay, well, okay, cool, dude. I don't know why else he is saying this then. Okay, well, I never had this experience with my middle finger, but well, that kind of sucks, dude. Don't cut it off, man. Just take her for ring index. But look at this where. Why do I get scared when playing Osu? I'm a 6-digit, and most of the time when I'm about to send a new top player or get good act on the map, my heart beats very fast, and I feel like somebody behind is watching me, and I look behind me, and there's nobody there. What the fuck? This happens almost every time I play Osu. I just get so scared. I stop playing the game and take a rest for a while. Every time I play Osu, I still get the same feeling. It sucks for me because I want to keep playing every time I almost say good score. This happens to me. I was potential SS play because I'm just looking up and I'm seeing no one else has the same condition. And just, what the fuck? Okay, sorry for laughing, bro. But this is such a goofy. Okay, I don't think. Maybe some of you guys relate to this. Sorry for laughing, guys. But what? You're playing, your heart beats very fast, and you're about to go fucking crazy, and you're just like, wait, I think Slenderman's behind me. And then you're playing the game, and then you look behind you, and you're like, oh, he's not there anymore. And then you go back to the circle, and you're like, oh shit, the spinner, I gotta slide it. And then you fucking miss it because you had to look back and find Slenderman, but he was actually behind you. Bro. Yeah, look at this. Yes, the anti-FC goes on and you, but I don't know, bro. Like, I guess it's some sort of anxiety where you're trying to FC. Like, personally, I'm not really the best at designer. Like, I also get nervous when I'm trying to FC maps too, but it's not to the extent where I think some people. I have schizo hallucinations, bro. I don't know, man. I think you got some deeper problems than playing Osu here. I can't really give you an exact answer if I'm just gonna be honest. But let's take the next one where. OC content. Hello, I made my first OC video recently. In my opinion, I believe it's the best video I've ever made in 30 years of making content. I want to share it with the OC enjoyers. Yeah, oh my gosh, bro. So I'll show you guys some clips of this, but like this is so freaking awesome, bro. Like
the final chapter.
Oh my god.
Top play.
Let's fucking go, dude.
After getting a new mouse for Christmas, it was GG, bro. Shit was serious now. It was time to make this happen. Although I believed I was more than capable of playing way above a 300 PP level, it wasn't as easy as I thought it would be for two reasons. The first reason being nerves. Not long after I started grinding for my top play, I kind of realized there's probably no chance it's going to be an FC / a score I'm actually proud of. During this one sesh, I was on pace to get a top play from the map Caffeine Fighter, but instead all I ended up getting was a new
nice
heart
map,
rate
bro.
PB. How the actual frick do I clutch up an FC with 171
Why did he duck
heart rate?
quack?
It literally seems impossible to me. So yeah, I had to change my
Okay,
strategy
dude.
a bit, and I started playing maps that would give way more than 300, so I could choke like I usually do, but finesse off the miscount. And on January 3rd, 2025, it finally happened. Almost 7 years in the making.
Let's go. Oh my gosh, this wonderful wonder, bro. Let's go. Nah, bro. Let him cook. Let him cook. It's all good, bro. Okay. This is the... Oh, this is a top diff, bro. All right, bro. I'm gonna let him cook. This is probably one of the best plays he's ever done. Look at his cursor. He's shaking. Oh, he freaking missed, bro. No way he gets to PP even though he misses it one time there, bro. All right, bro. He was playing this game for 10 years, and he finally got his top play on Wonderful Wonder. Okay, bro.
That's it.
Wow. Wow.
Breaking the 300 PP / top play barrier was my initial goal, but not gonna lie, I didn't really feel much fulfillment from this play. A 96 act 2 miss on a 30-second map, it kind of meant nothing to me, bro. A huge weight was lifted off my shoulders by
I guess you got to play, bro. It's all good though.
Like, got it. But the play itself, I don't know, man. It wasn't one I was really proud of. 10 days later, on January 13th, 2025,
come on.
on that same map, I ended up doing this.
Oh man. Oh man, bro. Oh my god, bro. He's hitting the jumps. This is 7 stars for a reason, bro. He's in the big leagues now. Is he about to get the medal? Oh, wow. Wow. Congratulations, sir. Wow, dude. Wow.
Oh my
Wow.
god. Wow.
Wait.
Wow, bro.
What the fuck?
367 PP. Now that's what I'm talking about. On top of
That's
that,
what I'm talking
I got
about,
my
bro.
first 7-star FC, which is really badass. I'm happy with the
Yeah, super badass,
accomplishment,
bro.
but even after FCing the map,
Wow.
it still didn't do much for me outside of the initial excitement. But this play confirmed it. I'm back, and I'm better than I ever was.
He's
I
fucking
still
back,
can't
dude.
believe I came back in FC to 7.
Guess who is
map,
back?
and I'm so hungry for way
Wow.
more. I still have yet to get
He's
an
hungry
FC
for
that
more,
I'm
bro.
really proud
His
of.
gremlin
I think
levels
that my hero
are
score from
signaling
2020
upwards.
is the last play I set that I was proud of. So that's what's next on the agenda. I've been trying to
Nice,
FC
bro.
Darkflay Dreamer, but I just
Good
can't
map,
keep
good
it
map, bro.
together. But this is an FC
This
I've
map
wanted since
is tough, bro.
2018.
It's
I don't
tough,
wanna
it's tough,
stop
it's
there,
tough. I
though.
get it, bro. I
I'm
get
coming
it.
back and grinding for all of my dream FCs from 2018. Some of these plays were PP
Look at his heart
records
rate,
at the time.
166
Some of my dream
BPM.
plays include remote control, hidden
Wow.
double time, Road of Resistance,
He's playing
Crimson
on DT?
Rebellion, and Tengaku, just to name a few. When shit like
Wow.
remote control was PP record, not for a second did I ever think that'd be a score I could get. But these days, where kids are raised at AIM Labs headquarters to piss out 1000s, I see no reason why I can't get that score. There's been multiple moments where I'm playing one of these Dream FC maps, and I cook the tiniest bit, and I just can't help
Oh
myself
my
from
gosh.
giggling and grinning ear to ear. Just the thought of, yo, give me 3 months to practice on this. Like, what would this look like after 3 months? Just the
Yes,
thought
bro.
of that gets me so excited.
Let's go, bro. Okay, he's playing the Ange du Blanc Pierre. Wow. You're telling me this guy is 60,000 PP rank?
I
Wow.
mentioned earlier how me ending up back on Osu felt like fate. If you aren't buying it, listen to this, bro. I have a homie who in 2018 was pretty much the only person I would talk Osu with. We both stopped playing and eventually lost contact. What are the chances that our peak ranks are a day apart, bro? And we both come back at the same time to grind for 4-digit. Still not buying it?
Wow.
How about this one? For several years,
Wow.
I've severely struggled with substance addiction. I'm diagnosed
Oh,
with some
shit,
substance
bro.
abuse bullshit. No idea what it's called. I've gone back and forth quitting and then relapsing for years now. Ever since a relapse in May 2024, I've tried countless times to quit and I just haven't been able to get it right. Fast
on, bro. You
forward
got
to
this, bro.
now, there was a big problem. For me at
What's up,
least,
bro?
it's kind of hard to play a rhythm game at your peak level when you're trashed at 3 p.m. every single day. It took a lot of tries, but I'm proud to say I finally got it right. I'm a month sober from alcohol and 1 week sober from smoking. And there's absolutely
go,
no
bro.
shot I would have been able to quit if it weren't for Osu. So yeah, I guess I quit drugs
Wow.
to play more Osu. Kind of baller. But I don't know, man.
Wow.
If that's not fate, then I don't know what is. Regardless
Wow.
of how we got here, I couldn't be happier about how things played out. Shout out to Radial and Reptar for inspiring me to play Osu again. Shout out to Diplo and Gorilla for tolerating
out,
my
bro.
nonstop
Shout out to
Osu
Radial and
yapping in
Diplo.
their DMs every single
Shout out
day.
to-
Shout out to my boy TW4L
The boy
for being my
TW4L.
goat. Shout out to Spare for coaching me.
Shout out to
Shout out
Spare.
to Namirin and Atarashi
Shout out to Namirin.
Gakko. Without their
Atarashi
music, I don't think we
Gakko.
would have ended up here. Thank you for
Oh,
watching.
the music.
BTMC, please collab. Okay, bye.
Shout out to Bistro MC2. Wow.
We've gathered 3
What the fuck? Okay, yeah, that video. So I'm gonna link it below, but that video is freaking awesome, bro. Amazing stuff, dude. Very, very proud of this man getting the 300 PB play into Wonderful Wonder. That's when you know he woke up that day. The next day, he was like, wow, this is a wonderful day. Almost a wonderfully wonderful wonder day. Okay, what the fuck? Okay, but that guy, very, very nice, bro. Let's go. But let's look at this last post here. Sorry that this video is so long, but have a lot of shit to talk about. Where why do top players act how they do, and why do people respond? Why do people act like all these top players do anything other than grind offline? Whenever they quit W on Twitter every 2 weeks, all they do is grow, grounded, farm map. They got stuck on stream, signed out for a week or two before they signed back in and magically just go to FC. You can even see nameless local scores and players streams all the time. Those are really odd behavior and makes you curious as to why people act like it's such a surprise anytime someone quits for an undetermined time and comes back once they set scores again, as if they don't only sign in because they got some 98% A rank offline. Yeah, so yeah, I like this guy's take where top players don't want to underperform on stream. People call them rush, etc. Another reason for offline play is just people are ashamed to spend so much time in this game. Yeah, so there's another thing. I like those guys' reasons, but another thing is that Osu players, so pride is a really big thing. So this is just a human nature thing, but obviously everybody, we all desire deep down a feeling of importance. And in Osu game, well, they cleverly have these mechanics for you to feel super important. They give you the medals, the achievements, the PP count. You see your rank go up. You see yourself destroying other players. And within, I guess you could say, from a sociological level, that in First World, where most people are playing Osu game, well, there's not really that many opportunities in the First World since everything's so fucking easy for you to essentially take vengeance over others or feel some sort of importance, right? Because Osu players, I'm not trying to boom, but most people who play Osu, they are playing the rhythm game because most likely other aspects of their lives they're neglecting, I would say. But in any case, a lot of people, Osu game is their whole fucking life. Their achievements are within gaming, and that is their whole pride and dignity right there. That's their whole personality. And as a result of that, like, there's nothing, like, I'm not trying to comment on if it's bad or not, but that's just the reality of things. And a lot of these top players who most likely play OC game their whole fucking life, and it's their whole pretty much existence reason for living. Well, the fact that they get so much attention from other people in this close-knit community, and they get treated like celebrities basically because they're good at clicking circles. Well, obviously they attach themselves to this aspect of like, okay, I'm a quit W, and it's an ego thing, of course, because they're like, okay, I want attention. I know it sounds fucking crazy, but like, personally, I'm not trying to say that this is not something I crave as well. Of course I do, the feeling of importance, but I'm just trying to point it out where people like these, yeah, they go offline, they grind a lot, and they don't come back and gain that attention again, which most likely stems from them being good at the game. So if they're like super washed, they obviously get angry. Like, I know some of these people are on the Ozu community, like, they fucking grind all the time offline so they can get their former glory because they seek that attention from like r_, like, guys, look at this fucking play, and then they upload YouTube on fucking Twitter and all this shit. They see it, all the engagements are like, oh my god, this is the best thing that ever happened to me. But then once they're not like that anymore, they're just like, what the fuck, bro? What's the point of this anymore? Like, there's this constant emotional cycle that OSU players, especially top players, face because it's their whole fucking life here. Because you can't be a top player in OSU without dedicating hours every fucking day on this, and for years too. So yeah, basically it's a pretty much an ego thing basically, and like, it's not to say it's a bad thing. M just pointed it out where it's just how it is for these top players and why they act like that. It's because I guess you could loop it back in the dopamine receptors, like the feeling of importance, basically. But that's pretty much all I want to say in this video. I know this video is super long, but I wanted to cover a lot of shit, a lot of tweets or fucking Reddit posts. And yeah, I might make these videos more frequent because this is just way too much content to cover in one video, bro. I might have to do like 2 times a week or something, except like 1 time a week or so. But yeah, that's pretty much all I want to say in this video, and I'll see you guys.